Brainwashing. When most people hear this word, they think of movies and books dealing with psychological issues. What they fail to realize is that brainwashing can be done in many different ways, and their victims may not even realize. There are many types of brainwashing: conversion, hypnotism, and even propaganda. These methods can be used in the military, in cults, and in everyday life. But today we're specifically going to be talking about conversion, the method used by cult leaders. Cults are a really nerve-wracking thing that we see in movies quite often but don't usually experience firsthand. Most people don't realize that getting involved in cultic activities isn't as avoidable as you might think. Most people involved are not aware they're in a cultic situation and are very unaware of how to escape. One condition of cultic control is a system of reward and punishment. This is the idea that you will be praised if you do something correctly and may gain more power, and if you don't do exactly what you are told, you will be punished. In addition to this, there is also great punishment or alienation when speaking against authority. They believe in group ideas and disregard the idea of individual self. They use this intimidation tactic as a way to shut down parts of the brain. The brain is split in two, horizontally and vertically. Half of the brain is responsible for emotions and logic, while the other half is how we process our thoughts and feelings. When members are taught to ignore their thoughts and feelings, they forget how to communicate them in a positive way. The members then suppress emotional processing and critical thinking, causing the leaders to maintain their control over the members. This is the way cult members brainwash. One real-life example of this is the Jonestown Massacre. This news is quite old, but it introduced us to how life-threatening brainwashing can be. The Jonestown Massacre took place in 1978, but we will start from the beginning. Jim Jones began as a preacher and self-professed faith healer. He began his church in 1950, and his church became very popular very fast. It was very involved and ran food drives and medical services for the needy. This is why members were so involved. Jones attracted many young members to his church because they wanted to contribute to something meaningful. Ex-members spoke up about the unethical practices Jones was doing. This is where everything went downhill. He began isolating himself from society and hiding when going into public, until one day he announced to his members that he was moving his church to Guyana and they were welcome to join. Here he would build a socialist utopia called Jonestown. When members moved with Jones, the utopia was not as they expected. They were forced to work long days and dealt with harsh punishment if they questioned authority. He collected all passports and medications from the members, and they were struck with plagues of mosquitoes and tropical diseases. At this point, Jones' mental health was declining, and he was struggling with addiction, and was convinced the media and government were out to get him. Then, on November 13, 1978, Jones led his people into a mass suicide. 909 of his followers participated in this by drinking Flavor Aid laced with cyanide and other drugs. This was the end of Jonestown. It can be used in a lot of everyday life situations, and most people don't even realize it. Cults are just one example, and although they may seem avoidable and rare, they are actually quite common. I hope I'm drawing attention to these conditions and the reality of brainwashing, and it helped you learn a little bit more about how it works.